Welcome into Soda City Living. I'm your host, Madeline Stewart. This is a true lifestyle show based in the Soda City, Columbia, South Carolina. We feature anything and everything the Midlands and beyond has to offer. Today, we're highlighting a very important and long-standing partnership that helps our neighbors in need all around the Midlands. JT's Automotive puts a big emphasis on spreading joy around the holidays, and JT works to share that joy with those less fortunate through working with the Salvation Army. We're so excited to show you the ins and outs of how this partnership positively impacts our Midlands communities. During this special episode, we'll visit some Salvation Army bell ringers to learn about the mission. You might recognize at least one of those volunteers. Plus, we'll talk to JT about what the partnership means to his employees and how they lend a hand as well. But first, meet Major Mark Craddock with the Salvation Army of the Midlands to learn how the Salvation Army helps families during the holidays and beyond. It's the season of giving. JT's Automotive is partnering once again with the Salvation Army of the Midlands to help our neighbors right here in our own hometowns. We'll catch up with JT in just a bit to learn more about that partnership, but first we want to welcome Major Mark Craddock from the Salvation Army of the Midlands to learn more about their mission. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for the opportunity for coming today.
So I know the Salvation Army of the Midlands does a whole lot for our communities around here, but tell us some of the ways that you guys do give back.
At the Salvation Army of the Midlands, we concentrate on three things throughout the Midlands communities. We want to help people stay in their house. We want people, our families across the Midlands, to have housing security. And we do that through rent payments, utility payments. We also want people to have food security. So as much as we can, help people increase nutrition. And we know, as everybody else does, that when you can provide families with good nutrition, you have kids who perform better in schools, you take some pressure off the emergency rooms. And let's be honest, I don't know about the rest of the world, but when I'm hungry, I don't make very good decisions. And so we want our families to have proper nutrition and food so they can make good decisions as well. And the third thing we do through the Midlands community is we want to invest back into our youth. We want to give them the opportunity to realize their full potential. We have a range of programs that helps them do that, everything from helping them learn to read in school to putting instruments in their hands, teaching piano and brass and singing and dance to give them that self-expression. And those are the three pillars of our community service back to the Midlands community.
So many amazing initiatives, and of course everybody, especially this time of year, recognizes that red kettle. So tell us about that campaign.
Well, these red kettles and these bells have been ringing across the Midlands since 1905. And I'm not very good at math, so I'll let somebody else figure out how many years that is. But what we like to say is these bells that ring across the Midlands every year, these are bells of hope. So everything we just talked about, how we help the Midlands community's families, are funded in large part through our relationships with JT and partners like him, which he is the lead, and these red kettlebells. And so we want to raise $250,000 through these bells. They're in front of businesses all across the Midlands who have volunteered space at their business to let us do this. Numerous volunteers across churches and civic groups and families that come along want to teach their children how to give back into the community. And you hear those bells, and you don't have to ring them very loud. Sometimes in the Midlands, you just have to stand there and shiver in the weather, and the bell rings itself. But we like to call them bells of hope because it helps us to say yes to families who come to the Salvation Army. Here's a need that I have, a crisis that we're experiencing, and we can invest back into those families.
What makes the Salvation Army different than other charities?
Well, you know, I don't know how much of that is we could say we're different than other charities. I like to say in the nonprofit world, in the charity world of the Salvation Army, I don't have competitors, I have collaborators. And so what we do is that we have our piece, and we just share with you those three pillars that we do. And then we partner with other nonprofit organizations to help families fill in gaps that they have. So we can do a lot of referrals, people can refer to us. And those partnerships with us are critically important, not just like with JT and the business community, but also with our other nonprofits, the Transitions Homeless Center. The City of Columbia is a great partner with the Salvation Army, the United Way of the Midlands. And all of that comes together to create a synergy that helps the Salvation Army to provide even better service to families across the Midlands.
Just how helpful has this partnership with JT's Automotive been?
You know, you have to have good leadership in the nonprofit, in the world in general, business in general. You have to have good leadership, and that's what JT does for us. He serves on our advisory board. He is our largest contributor, And one of the great things about this partnership with JT is that we can go to other people and say, hey, you know, I'm going to borrow JT's influence and his reputation, and I can go in and say, JT trusts us. Here's how he serves on our advisory board. He's one of our major contributors. Would you help as well? And so they may, you know, you're the major of the Salvation Army. You're supposed to do these kind of things, but if JT trusts you, then I can as well. It's a critically important relationship.
Absolutely. What would you like to tell people this holiday season about giving back and maybe why they should choose Salvation Army?
Oh, well, you know, I'll give you a great example, I think, and that is the Salvation Army's Angel Tree. And so every year the Salvation Army adopts 2,500 children for Christmas. This year it's 2,510. And when we take the applications, we say to those families, we're going to provide you Christmas assistance this year. And we don't have anything yet when we make that promise. We're totally dependent on the generosity of the Midlands community, and you've never let us down, right? And so we don't anticipate that ever happening. But that Angel Tree program is critically important because it does so many things. It's a great idea of having a great opportunity for us to teach our children how to give back to our communities. It's very simple. I like to take people, I have a grandson who's 9. So I take my older children and we go to an Angel Tree and we'll find a boy that's 9 years old. We'll adopt that boy for Christmas and matches what I'm doing for my grandson. It's just a great way to teach the young men in my house how to give back in their community. But the real reason we do Angel Tree is because we understand that families want to provide their children a quality Christmas experience. We all have a favorite Christmas experience, or favorite Christmas memory. We could talk forever for that, right? And we want to replicate that in families across the Midlands. But even more importantly, we don't want families taking their rent and their utility money for January, February, and March, putting that in Christmas, and then putting themselves in crisis. And if we can divert that and make that where families have that stability together, even better. And that way they're providing for themselves. It's much more economical, much more uplifting, and much more valuable to the family.
If someone is interested in donating either funds or gifts, contributing to an Angel Tree, or looking to volunteer, what's the best way to reach out?
The best way to reach out is salvationarmymidlands.org. And on that website, you'll find volunteer opportunities. You'll find opportunities to go onto the Salvation Army's online Angel Tree. And you'll get to select the angels that you want to, by age, by gender, however you want to do that. As many as you would like. The system's set, you can adopt up to 99 angels if you're so inclined. We have lots of businesses around the Midlands that adopt a number of angels. And that's the best way to connect into us. Or of course, you can always call us at 803-765-0260.
When we come back, we're taking you to one of the Red Kettle sites to learn how your dollars are making a difference in our Midlands communities. You might recognize one of the bell ringers. Did you know Mr. Knows It volunteers every year? Find out what the mission means to WIS's Joe Pinner. And later, we'll learn why JT continues doing the most good with the Salvation Army of the Midlands year after year and the impact this partnership has on his company. We'll be right back.